War. What is it good for? I don't remember. But Warfare is one of the rare movies that is a really great movie that I'm glad I saw, and also can be filed under a really great movie that I will never watch again. Warfare is about a group of Navy SEALs who go on a mission in Iraq, and then warfare happens. Without spoiling it, because there's nothing really to spoil about this movie. I mean, I could give you bullet points, like beat for beat what happens in the movie, but obviously I'm not going to do that because you should see this movie. But I think the discourse around this movie, where whenever a war movie comes out, is it propaganda? Is it pro this? Is it pro that? I think the message of this movie ends up being like, all of this happens with what appears to be in the span of a day, maybe 2 days, but I'm pretty sure it takes place within a 24-hour period. And then the end of the movie, again, without spoiling anything, is kind of this final shot where it's just like, oh yeah, this was just a day in the 20-year, war on terror, war with Iraq. And then it was kind of just like, oh yeah, that happened today. Like tomorrow, something else will happen. How many just these type of horror stories have happened in that 20 years to both the Iraqi citizens and the soldiers, where it's just, this is the worst day of your life. And this is a random, May 3rd, 2004. This movie, it stars Cosmo Jarvis, which great. I mean, one of the best names you're ever going to hear. Cosmo Jarvis, only followed up by Defero Woon Atai, which again, great names. And then you have the two white guys with names that are Will Poulter and Joseph Quinn. So two cool names, two regular white guy names. I'm here for it.
Is this guy good or what?
The first 40 minutes of this movie is this really methodical, like mundane, like this is just the life of the everyday soldier. And we're all held up in this room with this family whose house we've just kind of taken over, and they're kind of just in one room, just sitting on the bed waiting. All the soldiers are in one room, and it's just like, we're playing the waiting game. We're seeing what's happening. And then it's just this really slow, methodical buildup to where it's just like, uh-oh, like, oh no, this is happening. Oh no, this is happening. And to people that say this movie is propaganda, there's not a moment in this movie where you're just like, yay, America. Like, yeah, go for it. There's no cool, you see other war movies, like one of the best war movies I feel that has come out in the past couple of years is Hacksaw Ridge. And even in that movie where it's about, a soldier who never picks up a gun, never kills anybody, and just saves his platoon members and stuff like that, it's still in that movie, a bunch of characters, including the main character played by Andrew Garfield, they all get like their heroic moments where it's, slow motion, it's being cool. It's those type of things do not happen in this movie at all, right? It's just like nobody gets any real cool heroic moments. I don't even think there's one in the film. You don't see them like, one guy running out to save everybody and then like avoiding 50 bullets and, shooting 3 or 4 guys. I don't think you see one enemy get shot. You don't see one of the main, group of Navy SEALs. You don't see any of them get shot. The only injuries that happen is what happened from the missile dropping and like kind of the after effects of that. So that I really liked, because when you think about Alex Garland, you obviously think of Ex Machina, which I think might be a perfect movie. I really liked Annihilation. I know a lot of people had problems with that movie, and it wasn't as highly regarded as Ex Machina, but I still really liked Annihilation. And then last year, he came out with Civil War, which was one of my top 10 favorite movies from last year that came out. I really loved that movie. I just recently rewatched it with my wife, who hadn't seen it when I saw it, so she wanted to check it out. She also liked it. And the thing I really like about that movie is, obviously it's a civil war in the United States, so they don't make it, oh, it's the Democrats versus the Republicans. And Alex Garland does it in that movie very smartly, where he pairs California and Texas together. And the obvious reason of why he did that is because those are the two most blue and red states. So whatever side California's on is going to be the, Democratic side. Whatever side Texas is on is going to be the Republican side. So in that movie, he just combined them. So the point of that movie is there's one scene where our main characters in that movie, which are just, news reporters who come across two soldiers who are shooting into a house. And one of the main characters asks one of the snipers on the ground shooting into the house, like, is that guy on our side? Is he an enemy? Like, whose side is he on? And then the guy on the ground, the sniper, just goes,
someone's trying to kill us. We are trying to kill them.
And they don't elaborate on that. Nothing.
Oh, I get it. You're a
When it comes to specifically this movie, it's really slow. It's really methodical. It's really just them kind of setting up and doing like a routine surveillance on a group of guys in this one town, this one city, again, in one part of Iraq on one day in the 20-year war. And then it's a slow, methodical build for 40 minutes of just like, here's their everyday life. Here's what's happened. Here's this, here's that. And then it just slowly builds up the tension to where finally the big thing happens. It really jolts you like out of, the slumber that the slow methodical build of the movie has put you in. And then you're just in, just a hell. Like you're just in the middle of this. Again, it's not even war zone. It's like you're in the middle of this street in Iraq in this one house where all the Iraqi citizens around them are trying to kill the people in the house. The people in the house aren't necessarily trying to kill the people outside the house. They're just trying to basically get out of there, right? And that is where the conflict comes. Again, it's hard to be like, this guy was great in this movie. This guy was great in this movie, because Will Poulter, I feel like I just saw Death of a Unicorn. I was going to do a review on this channel, but kind of just was like, I don't know what to say about that movie. It's fine. See Death of a Unicorn, but he is by far the best character in it.
Good job.
He kind of feels wasted in this movie. I felt like the trailers of this movie kind of put him front and center. And in the actual movie itself, he maybe has 20 minutes of screen time where he's actually saying something. Most of the time, he's just kind of standing there or sitting there or just saying, there's a lot of like military talk in this movie. I've never been in the military, so I don't know what it's called, but just a lot of like, code words and code names and just being like, oh, we're here. Send help here. It's not like a lot of, you would think in war movies like, the Hurt Locker, Jarhead, you get a lot of scenes of like, look at these guys bonding and having fun. This one, it's really just soldiers on a mission. They clearly all know each other, but they're just there to do a job. And that I really liked. I was dreading seeing this movie and just being like, oh man, not another, war propaganda, like rah-rah America movie. And this is kind of the complete opposite of that, where if you watch this movie and afterwards, you're like, yeah, America, or like, I want to join the army. Like, there is something wrong with you. They should literally show this to people who are thinking of joining the army and just being like, okay, here's the worst possible situation of what could happen to you. And then if you still want to do that after that movie, then you're probably set out to be in the army, right? But it was also just, I found it funny where the writer and director, the Ray Mendoza, who also is the Ray character in this movie, was like, oh yeah, this was a love letter to the guy who lost his legs and was in a wheelchair because he doesn't remember all the horrific events that led to that. Like, wow, what a love letter. I would hate to be your pen pal.
I was about done anyhow.
I thought this movie, like I said in the intro, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really tense, really well made. It, again, that 40-minute just build up to everything it's a really slow burn movie, but then once it ignites, it never stops till the end. So yeah, really great movie, really intense movie. It is worth seeing, but again, know what you're going into if you're sensitive, or I can't imagine if you're a soldier who has PTSD and then going to see this type of movie, like, dear Lord. But yeah, Warfare, great movie. One of the best movies I've seen so far this year. And again, in that rare category of movie where absolutely fantastic movie, absolutely edge of your seat that I will never watch again because it's a real bummer.